In the dusty cantina, all eyes turned to Robert Salazar as he tapped a land deed on the scarred table.
You've got nothing left, Ortega, but I'll give you a chance. Race your lame bay against my champion. If you win, I double your land. If you lose, your plot becomes mine. Your children can beg in the streets. What do you say?
He's forcing my hand. If I refuse, we starve. If I race, I lose everything in front of the whole town.
His trembling hand hovered over the deed. Every face in the cantina waited.
Done. 1 week. 3 leagues. My bay against your best.
I'll enjoy watching that lame nag collapse before the first league. You just signed away your children's roof, Ortega.
David walked out past the hobbling bay horse, its twisted leg dragging, and the laughter followed him into the street. He returned to his adobe house, where Maria held the younger ones close, already reading the ruin on his face.
You didn't accept. Papa, tell me you didn't bet the land.
I did, mija. Salazar put the deed on the table and dared me to refuse. I had no choice.
No choice? You gambled our home on a horse that can barely walk.
The younger ones, Lucia and Antonio, burst into sobs, clutching Maria's dress as the word homeless hung in the air. Outside, town boys found the bay hobbling by the corral and pelted its rump with stones, laughing at its stumble.
They all see a broken animal, but I see something else in your eyes. I just don't know what yet.
That night, while his children slept fitfully, David carried a lantern into the corral and crouched beside the bay's twisted leg.
This scar tissue is old. The twist isn't from birth. It's like something pushed the frog out of place.
He ran his thumb along the hard ridge at the edge of the hoof, feeling a shape that shouldn't be there.
Easy. Boy, I am going to find out what's been hurting you all these years. Just hold still.
The lantern flickered. David's jaw set. That hoof held an answer, and he would not rest until he found it. With a curved pick, David worked under the ridge and pried loose a dark, jagged stone the size of a child's fist. The stone fell into the dust with a dull thud, black and crusted with old blood.
There. That's what they call lameness. A stone no one cared to look for.
The bay threw its head back with a sharp whinny but did not pull away, only shuddered and then slowly straightened that crooked leg.
He's not lame. He never was. He just learned to walk around the pain. I'll call you Bayo, for the color of your coat and the fire you kept hidden.
He led Bayo in slow circles through the corral, watching that leg bear wait without the old hitch.
If Salazar even suspects, he'll find a way to end this before the race. We train in secret.
The next pre-dawn, he took Bayo to a hidden bend of the river, where cottonwoods muffled sound and no road came near.
Easy, Bayo. We've got a week to teach you what those bastards stole from you.
The first morning, Bayo stumbled through the shallows, legs still remembering the twisted gait.
You are learning, boy. Your bones remember what they were born for.
By the third dawn, Bayo stretched into a rough canter, dust pluming behind him.
He leaves before the rooster. Where does Papa go every morning?
She followed his tracks through the mesquite, staying low until the river bend revealed them.
That can't be the same horse. Running without a limp, like he was born to it. Papa, what are you doing? That horse is running without a limp.
He never was lame, mija. A stone the size of my thumb was stuck in his hoof. I pulled it.
You kept this secret while Salazar laughed at us. I could have helped.
I needed you fierce, not hoping. Now you know. Guard this river. No one gets through.
Bayo stretched into a full gallop, hooves barely touching, dust exploding behind him.
He's a heart with legs. Maria. He would run through fire for us.
At sunset, the three of them stood silent, a pact against the coming storm. The next morning, race posters appeared on every wall in town, bold letters announcing the 3-league bet. Salazar's foreman pointed at the poster and laughed, loud enough for David to hear across the plaza.
Let them laugh. In 2 days, That poster will mean my land or my children on the street.
Each training session pushed Bayo harder, his speed becoming something this town had never seen.
Papa, what if someone follows you? The whole town thinks we're fools.
Then we let them think that, Mija. Surprise is our only weapon.
2 days before the race, David gripped the reins and felt Bayo's power tremble through the leather. That same afternoon, Salazar called Mateo and Joaquin into his office, smoke from his cigar drifting between them.
That Ortega has been too quiet. Watch his corral. Find out what he's hiding with that nag.
Mateo and Joaquin hunkered behind a rock ridge, binoculars trained on David's small corral below, noting how the bay stood steady. That night, a dusty rider brought word to Salazar. The bay no longer limped.
Fetch Ortega. I have an offer for him.
At sunrise, David entered the office, the scent of leather and tobacco thick in the air.
Ortega, I'll give you 200 pesos for the bay. Good money for a lame horse.
He's smelling for the truth. I won't give him a single clue. If he's as worthless as you say, then why buy him? You are not a charity, Salazar.
You are right. I am not. Get out. We'll see who laughs after the race. You'll regret this, Ortega. The whole town will watch your disgrace.
David walked out, the heavy door slamming behind him, sealing Salazar's threat into the hot air. By midday, the market women refused them corn, bread, even a cup of water.
They want to starve my children before the race, but I won't break.
A ranch hand's boy blocked Maria's path in the plaza, mocking her father's foolish bet louder than the rest.
Say one more word, and I'll give you a scar to remember.
The boy stumbled back, eyes wide with fear, and Maria's blade stayed clean but promising in the sunlight.
They're trying to break you too, Mija, but you are made of stronger stuff than their words.
But the town's silence only sharpened their will, a quiet before the storm. That night, David sat with his children, their hands joined, the candle burning low.
Ortega's bay no longer limps. The stone was removed. Fix that horse tonight, or tomorrow you'll answer to me.
We'll mix enough poison to kill 3 horses. By dawn, that bay will be cold.
In a dark storeroom, Joaquin crushed belladonna seeds into cane liquor, the poison turning thick and dark. Outside, a dry lightning storm cracked the sky, flashing silent warnings that never reached the ground.
Something's wrong, Mija. I can feel it in the wind. They won't let us race clean.
Then I'll stay with Bayo tonight. No one touches him while I have breath.
David slept in fits, his dreams colliding with the low rumble of thunder. By midnight, 2 shadows slipped through the gate, a bottle swinging from Joaquin's belt.
The night fell too quiet. Even the cicadas had stopped singing.
Maria, machete in hand, scanned the darkness, unaware of the shadows closing on the stable.
Stay back. I'll cut the hand that poisons this horse.
Her machete swung in a wide arc, slicing through Mateo's sleeve and into his forearm. Joaquin tackled her against the stall. Her shoulder hit the wood with a sick crack, and she cried out. David heard the cry and grabbed a shovel from the wall, running barefoot into the dark.
Get away from her, you coward, or I'll bury this shovel in your skull.
Mateo stumbled out, blood dripping. Joaquin dropped the bottle and fled into the night. David caught her as she crumpled. His hands were instantly slick with her blood.
Win for us, Papa. Promise me. Don't let them take the land.
I'll make them pay, Mija. Every last one of them.
The first gray light of race day bled through the cracks of the stable, indifferent to the blood on the hay. An old doctor arrived at dawn, peeling back Maria's sleeve to clean the wound while David held her hand.
Win for us, Papa. Promise me you'll make them see what this horse can do.
David kissed her forehead, tasting salt from his own tears. He saddled Bayo in the gray light, his jaw set, eyes burning with fury. The town gathered at the track, unaware of the blood spilled at dawn.
Will Papa win, Maria? Will he come back?
He will, little sister. He carries more than our names. He carries the heart of that horse.
Every stride I take toward that track is for her blood on the hay.
He rode through the gate, the horse's hooves striking sparks from the stones. The race was 3 hours away, and the crowd was already a low murmur on the wind. David rode onto the track, and the crowd's murmur sharpened into pointed laughter. Salazar waited by the finish arch, cold-eyed.
Ready to lose everything, Ortega. After the race, your children will be begging in the streets.
David said nothing. He looked past Salazar to the long stretch of dust where everything would be decided.
Let him think this is about a broken horse. It's about blood now.
Joaquin rode past on Salazar's champion, a black stallion, and gave a slow, insolent salute.
Your nag won't last the first league. Old man, you should have taken the pesos.
David lined Bayo at the starting rope, feeling the horse's flanks quiver with coiled speed.
That animal should be dead by now. We'll finish this on the track.
The race official raised the starting pistol, its barrel glinting in the harsh midday sun.
For Maria. For the land. Now we show them.
The pistol cracked sharp, and the horses exploded in a wall of dust, hooves pounding the hardpan. Bayo stumbled on the first stride, dropping to dead last before finding his legs. The jeers rose like a wave. David's jaw clenched, but his voice stayed steady as he leaned low over the bay's neck.
Easy, Bayo. Remember the river bend. Let them run themselves out.
The black stallion was already 2 lengths ahead, Joaquin glancing back with a sneer.
That's it. Run that nag into the ground, Joaquin.
But Bayo's stride lengthened, settling into that patient rhythm David had taught by the river.
Now, Bayo, now. Pass them one by one.
The bay began to reel in the stragglers, a dark shape drifting through the dust like a ghost.
They don't know this horse. They only saw the limp. But I know his heart.
Bayo surged past a chestnut mare, and then a paint, his hooves eating the distance with a hunger born of years of pain. Joaquin glanced back, his smirk hardening into anger as the bay closed the gap to half a length. He swung his crop sideways, not at his own stallion, but back across Bayo's face in a vicious arc.
Back off, you coward.
A collective gasp rose from the crowd as the bay staggered, a welt already rising on his cheek.
You want pain, Salazar. We've known pain our whole lives.
But Bayo did not break stride. He snorted and lengthened his neck, driving forward as if the pain only fed his fury.
That's it, Bayo. Show them what a lame horse can do.
The bay swept past another rider, sliding into third as the dust swallowed those left behind. Joaquin kicked his stallion harder, his face a mask of rage, as the bay's hot breath closed on his dust. As they thundered side by side, Joaquin yanked a knife from his belt, the same blade meant to poison the water, and plunged it into Bayo's flank. Bayo screamed, a raw, piercing cry, but his stride never faltered. Hot blood splashed David's leg.
He's bleeding out. I have to stop, but if I stop, Maria's sacrifice means nothing.
His hands tightened on the reins, knuckles white, as he made the choice that would haunt him forever.
Forgive me, Bayo, forgive me. But we don't quit, not now.
The bay's ears flattened, and from deep within his chest came a sound like a war drum, thunder-stitched with pain, with a surge born of years of suffering. Bayo drove forward, blood streaming, leaving Joaquin's stallion in his dust.
No, that nag should be dead.
He's got more life in him than you'll ever have, coward.
The finish arch was now a faint line on the horizon, and only the black stallion stood between Bayo and impossible victory. David's mind flashed to Maria on the hay, her whisper clinging to his ears like a prayer.
If I pull up now, Bayo lives, but we lose everything. If we go on, he dies, but the children keep a roof.
He saw the faces of Lucia and Antonio, their small hands holding his in the candlelight.
Forgive me, my friend, but you'll carry my children's future across that line.
He slapped the reins and shouted, a raw sound torn from somewhere deeper than rage. Bayo erupted, hooves tearing the earth, blood painting the dust crimson. The black stallion was right there, but the bay stretched like a creature that had forgotten how to die.
There's no quit in this horse. He's teaching me what it means to fight without a tomorrow.
The wooden arch grew solid in the haze, a gate to either salvation or the end of everything.
Now, Bio, now. Every pain you've ever felt, give it to me now.
Bayo surged past the black stallion, his eyes wild with a fire no knife could extinguish. Joaquin's face twisted into disbelief, mouth open in a silent scream of fury and defeat. Bayo crossed the finish arch with a cloud of dust and blood. First by 10 lengths, the crowd erupted, not in laughter now, but in raw, disbelieving awe. Then Bayo's legs buckled. He staggered, his great heart still pumping crimson onto the dirt. David jumped clear and caught Bayo's head as he went down, lowering him gently to the earth.
You did it, my brave friend. You gave us back our home.
Bayo's chest heaved, a thin rasp. His ears still flickered at the sound of David's voice.
He gave everything, every last ounce. Now I have to make sure it wasn't in vain.
The crowd hushed, realizing the horse had won at what might be the cost of his life. David rose from Bayo's side, his shirt soaked in the horse's blood, and walked toward Salazar with fists clenched.
You owe me double, Salazar, my land and yours, as we agreed.
The agreement is void if you cheated. That horse was drugged. Anyone could see it staggering before the race.
Cheated? Your men tried to poison him last night. Ask the doctor at my house what he treated.
Lies. A desperate man's fantasy. The bet is void. The race means nothing.
The crowd's murmur turned ugly, eyes darting between the bleeding horse and the stone-faced rancher.
You will pay, Salazar. For my girl, for this horse, I will see you broken.
I am the law in this town. Your girl is a criminal, and you are a trespasser on my land.
Then, from behind David, a wet grunt. The bay's legs scraped the dirt, and its head lifted, eyes rolling wild, and the air thickened, as if the ground itself remembered an old law that no rancher could erase. The bay rose on trembling legs, a specter of blood and dust, and locked its dying eyes on Salazar.
Bayo, no, don't.
But the horse was beyond hearing. It lunged forward, hooves pounding, a silent roar tearing from its chest. Salazar froze, his pale eyes wide, the arrogance finally stripped from his face. Bayo's chest hit the gate with the force of judgment itself, driving Salazar against the splintering wood. A wet crack split the air. Salazar slid down the broken gate, eyes staring at nothing. Bayo staggered back and collapsed, his great body folding into the dust beside the man he had destroyed.
Number. No. God. No.
David dropped to his knees, cradling the bay's head as the animal's shallow breaths painted the dirt. The crowd stood frozen, the echo of the gate's destruction still ringing across the plain. 3 town elders pushed through the crowd, kneeling beside the broken gate and the fallen horse. One lifted the yellowed land deed from Salazar's coat, and another opened a worn law book. By the old law of retribution, the vanquished's land, when refused in payment, passes to the victor. David Ortega is now the sole owner of the Salazar Ranch, its fields, its water, and its gate. David did not rise. He lifted Bayo's head into his lap, tears cutting channels through the dust.
You were never lame, my friend. You were just waiting for someone to see you.
He stayed there, rocking slightly, as if the horse's last breath might still be called back.
You gave us more than land, Bayo. You gave my children a future with no master.
The crowd that had mocked him now stood in silent respect, hats in hand. David whispered a promise. That gate would become Bayo's grave, so his spirit would guard this land forever. At sunset, David lifted a shovel and broke the earth beside the shattered gate, each scoop a slow prayer.
You gave me everything, Bayo. I'll never forget.
With a final caress to the bay's muzzle, he lowered the great body into the earth. He filled the grave by hand, his tears mixing with the dry Durango dust. He hammered a simple wooden cross into the ground, the sound echoing across the silent plain. David stepped back, his silhouette black against the bleeding sky. The gate, restored, now bore the cross at its base, a monument to a horse that refused to be broken.
They called you lame, but you ran for all of us.
The sun dipped below the plains, and the first stars came out over the bio gate. David did not move until the cold came, keeping vigil over the grave that was now the heart of his land. Morning broke golden over the new gate, and Maria walked slowly toward it, her arm in a sling but her smile unbroken. She stopped beside him and pressed her good hand to the rough wood of the cross.
You did it, Papa. You gave us back a home.
He gave it, Mika. Every last breath was for you and your brothers.
Lucia and Antonio came running through the tall grass, laughing, their small feet sure on their own land.
Listen to that sound. That's what we fought for.
Tears fell, but they were not the tears of fear that had watered this land for so long. The gate stood open now, inviting the future that Bayo had bought with his blood. David looked out across the plains, his hand resting on the sun-warmed wood of the cross. The bay was gone, but his heart beat in every hooffall that would echo across this land. Dawn stretched across the Salazar land, now Ortega land, and the new gate stood tall against the light. David stood with Lucia and Antonio, their shadows long and joined on the fresh earth. The cross at the gate caught the first rays, casting a blessing over the hoofprints below. A single hoofprint remained deep and clear in the dust, as if just left by a ghost. David knelt and pressed his hand into the impression, feeling the shape of the run that saved them. Antonio touched his father's shoulder, and together they watched the light spread over the fields. The gate was open now, and the road beyond it no longer led to ruin. In the distance, Maria's laughter mixed with Lucia's as they walked the fields, free at last. The bay was gone from these plains, but in every hoofprint his heart still echoed. And then, silence, as the screen faded to black, leaving only the memory of a horse that refused to be lame.